Quilters Newsletter TV, the quilters community, is brought to you by Handy Quilter, designed by a quilter for quilters. Sulky, express yourself with Sulky and create with confidence. Brother, it's so easy with Brother at your side. And Quilt Cut, easy fabric cutting for quilters.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Quilters Newsletter TV, the quilters community. I'm Patrick Lose, I'm your host for this special series, and I've got my friend Kay Capps-Cross here with me again. Hi Kay.
Hi there.
And I have a project I'd like to show you from my pattern line. This is something that's a little patriotic, good for this time of year to be working on and have ready for the Independence Day, Memorial Day celebrations, things like that. This one's called Patriotic Placemat, and it involves a little bit of everything, some applique, satin stitching, piecing, even some handwork if you want to do it.
The things that you're also very good at.
Oh, well, I try.
Yeah,
I try. I enjoy them, that's why. So, but I wanted to show you, this is the actual pattern for Patriotic Placemat. It's Patrick Lose Studios is the name of my pattern line. And this is what, you can get the, the patterns either at your local quilt shop or on my website, or you can also download it, a digital version from my website. Yeah, so, and that's really cool.
Great.
So we've actually, it's been very popular as a digital pattern. So, but this is what you get. When you download the pattern, you can print it out yourself at home, and there's your instructions, there's some cutting and piecing diagrams and measurements.
Good pictures.
Yeah,
I'm a picture girl.
I'm visual too.
I'm a
I love
picture
that.
girl.
Well, and especially for this, there's continuous bias binding that needs to be cut for this project because it's round, so we're going to be putting bias binding on it. And I never could learn how to do that until I had the visuals, the instructions illustrated. So
yeah, and once you get it, it's very easy.
Yeah, definitely.
Someone once told me it was making the pants.
Yeah, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like pantaloons
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, with really pointy feet at the bottom.
Yeah. And then we have the templates. These are full-size templates. I always try to print all the templates in full size so you don't have to enlarge or anything like that.
That's great.
So the first thing that we have to do is to applique the star to the center of the placemat here. You can see that I did some, this was done by machine actually, but it can be done easily with a hand running stitch, and we might show you that a little bit later in another segment.
Now, I love the fabrics that you have in here.
Oh,
These are some of my favorites of
You know
yours.
what, this is one of my favorite collections I ever designed too. This is my Fizz collection for Robert Kaufman Fabrics, and you can get it at your local quilt shop. It's been around for a little while, and we're actually adding new colors to it all the time.
Good.
So yeah, we just recently added a lot of pastels to it. So. And that's something that's kind of new for me too.
That is. You're normally the bright and
more
saturated.
Pure. Yeah. So I've had a lot of fun with the line, and I think it works really well for this. It kind of looks like it's festive, you know.
And it gives you great texture. That's what I love about your fabrics is there's texture.
Thank you.
There's texture.
I try.
Yeah.
This also, to me, what I like so much about Fizz is that it looks like confetti. It looks like there's confetti laying on the placemat there.
Almost like little sequins too.
Yeah. So let's, what we need to do first is we're going to trace this template of the star.
Okay.
And all you need to do that is just some lightweight fusible adhesive, and what I use is Steam-A-Seam.
It's got the paper on both sides, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The light Steam-A-Seam too, actually, is a nice lightweight so it doesn't make it too stiff.
That's what I like as well.
So all you're doing here is just tracing the star. I try to make all my patterns, the outlines dark enough so that it's easy, to see through the paper as
Are the
you
lines
trace.
supposed to be straight?
Those are pretty straight.
Okay.
I wouldn't be worried.
Pretty straight for me.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. And actually, you don't even have to finish it. We've got one traced for you. If you want to reach right over there.
There we go.
Yep, there it is.
Didn't I do a great job? Look
You
at
did
that.
a wonderful job. So this, actually what we've done here is once you get it traced onto the fusible adhesive, you remove you cut it out and leave a rough outline there. And then you're going to fuse it onto the wrong side of your fabric so that you can cut, actually accurately cut outside the star. We've already done that too, so that you don't have to, if you want to go ahead and cut that one out, you can, but I've got it cut here.
Can I ask you a question? How do you know which paper you're taking off? Do you?
The adhesive actually floats between the two papers.
So it doesn't really matter.
Right. Well, it does matter because you want to make sure that when you do it, you put can you see that fusible adhesive there? You can put that to whatever side your paper is on. You want to make sure that you put it on the side where you've traced and then remove the other side.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's fun stuff to work with. Then what we need to do next is to remove the paper backing off the star, which we've already done there, and then we're going to fuse it to the center square. And I'm going to go over to the iron and show you an easy way to do that without having to use rulers and everything.
Because I imagine you're going to want yours centered.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect, but what I would do here is find my center of the square, and that's very simple to do just by folding it in half. And
Oh, that's a great way to do it.
yeah, we're going to lightly press that, and then fold it again in half to quarter it. And again, just lightly press that. That way you've got your center lines marked for where that star needs to lay.
Yeah, I like that because not only do you have the center point, you get some guidelines out near the outside of the block
outer
as
edge
well.
too. So I'm going to show this facing, let's see. We're going to center the bottom 2 points, this point right on that line and this top point right on the line. Now these not so much. They don't lay on the center line. What you have to do is just visually center them from the raw edges. And that's pretty close. That's good enough. And then we're just going to fuse that into place. And there we go. So you can see now that that's,
Oh, that looks great.
yeah. And this is my favorite part because I've been kind of teaching Kay how to do satin stitching. It's something that's a little new to her, but she's doing really well at it. But stars are kind of tricky. So I wanted to teach you how to do the outside and inside corners on these stars. So let me just get here at the machine.
I'm so excited. I've gone to the sophomore level.
Oh, you're beyond that, definitely. Okay, now it's really important that you use an open toe presser foot. You need to be able to see what the needle is doing and make sure that the needle's on the outside edge of the fabric. You're needing to cover the raw edges of the applique with a satin stitch. So I always set the machine at a 2.5, most commonly 2.5 stitch width and a 0.2 or a 0.4 stitch length. So it's a really tight stitch.
Pretty tight, yeah. That's
like
pretty tight.
If you know fashion sewing, it's a bar tack, like on your Levi's. Then the thing about stars that are kind of tricky is that on the inside points of the star, you can pivot easily without raising the needle so that you're not getting off track. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
you wouldn't be jumping and jumping
Right,
and
right. But
moving.
when you get to the outside, no matter where your needle ends, you have to lift the needle in order to get it going the right direction. So that's what I'm going to show you here.
Right, you have to come over and cover what you've done, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so I think it's easier to start at an inside corner just because you can pivot easily there. But I also like to always bring the tail of the thread in front, drop the needle down right at that point on the outside of the applique, and then we're just going to satin stitch down that line over the tail of the thread. And that,
Okay, so you're burying it in effect.
yeah, bury it so
Okay.
that someone can't come along and just pull that end and all of your satin stitching comes
Right.
out.
And so now you're satin stitching be through actually 3 layers, aren't you? You've got foundation under there, a stabilizer.
We have the Sulky Tear Easy stabilizer underneath it, and I love using that stuff. It's great for steering and things like that, but it also gives it a good foundation so that it's not puckering the fabric down into the bobbin case or
Right,
whatever.
because those stitches are close together.
They
aren't
are. It's like a bar tack. So now when you get to the outside corner, just bypass the edge of the applique by a few stitches.
Okay.
Then we're going to pivot, and you can tell just by looking at it, the needle's in the left position, and if I were to start stitching now, it's going to go over to the right position, so it's outside of the
Right.
applique. So we need to lift the needle. Whenever you're on an outside point like that, you have to lift the needle. See how it popped over
Yep.
to the right position? So now I have to move my applique over to the right position and lower that needle right back down into pretty much where it came out.
Okay, so then we're going back and covering over, in essence, that top
That
stitch.
same point, yes.
Yeah.
You don't want two blunt ends of the satin stitching line together. You want one on top of the other.
Okay.
So, and then we start down this side. Now on the inside corner, like I said before, you can pivot easily on an inside corner. What we're going to do when you get to the inside corner is bypass it by a few stitches.
Okay.
So there's, let's say, 4 or 5 stitches. And we're going to stop in the left position, always in the left on an inside corner. Because look, all I have to do, I just
and
pivot.
you're exactly right.
I'm
You're
exactly
mitering your
right.
corner.
I'm mitering the corner. And then I start down the next line. I think what I'm going to do is stop here and let you try an outside corner.
Great, you're going to make me do
I'm
the
going to make you do the outside point.
Okay, yeah, thanks. I love you
here we
too,
go.
Patrick. Let's see if I can do this.
I know you can.
All right. So I'm almost to the point, and I'm going to go past it just a smidge, right?
Just a couple of stitches.
Okay.
Do you see how easy it is to steer with
Yes.
that stabilizer underneath it?
So I'm going to go past just a couple.
There
Keep
you
my
go.
needle down.
Uh-huh. Pivot.
Yep, and now I have to,
There you go.
and it went to the left. So I'm going to go back down in that same hole.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Now it'll stitch
look at
right.
that.
Perfect.
Oh my. What grade do I get today?
A.
Yay!
A plus.
Cool. So I'm going to stop with my needle in the left position here, right?
Uh-huh. And just a few stitches beyond
Okay.
that point so that you can miter. There you go. One more to the left.
Okay.
There you go. And then pivot, and you're right in line to go.
Yay.
See how fast you can get
Oh
a
my
star
gosh.
done?
This is great.
There's 10 sides to that, and you know, it seems kind of daunting when you see all those points that you have to perfect, but once you get it down, get the technique down, you can do it really fast. So this is a good stopping point for us, because the next thing that we have to do is to, we're going to finish this star up, and then we're going to have to cut all of our fabrics for the rest of the placemat, do a little bit of piecing, and put it all together. So we'll
Great.
do that on the next segment of Quilters Newsletter TV, the Quilters Community. Join us then. Thank you.
Quilters Newsletter TV, the Quilters Community, is brought to you by Handy Quilter, designed by a quilter for quilters. Sulky, express yourself with sulky and create with confidence. Brother, it's so easy with Brother at your side. And Quilt Cut, easy fabric cutting for quilters.